Starburns Audio.
All right, Dave, it's time to ask you your trivia question that we ask you at the beginning of every show. Now, I will say you haven't been getting a lot of these trivia questions about the show you are on correctly.
Thank you.
But here is your first question. Dave, you have missed this question before.
Oh my God, again this question?
Here it is.
Oh.
Dave, what is the full name of our distribution company?
Starburns Audio.
That's correct, Dave. That is absolutely correct. We are distributed by Starburns Audio, the podcast arm of Starburns Industry. They make Rick and Morty, so that makes us cool.
That's
Dave,
good news.
everyone out there should check us out at Six Unseemly on all social media at unseemlyquestions.com. Let's get started with the show. Welcome to Six Unseemly Questions. I'm your host, Victor Varnado. This is my sidekick, Dave Rosinski. We've got a great contestant on the show today. Ladies and gentlemen, put your hands together for Jackie Cation. Round of applause for Jackie Cation. Thank you for coming out to the show. Also, we have a wonderful studio audience. It's Taj Osario and Rachel McCartney.
Hello.
Welcome.
Thank you all for being here. The show is going to be great. So I'm going to explain how the show works, Jackie, and then we're going to get started. Here's how the show works. I'm going to ask you 6 unseemly questions. At the end of each question, I will ring a bell if I like your answer like this. However, if I do not like your answer, I will not ring a bell, and I'll tell you why. Regardless of how many bells you get at the end of the show, will determine whether or not your appearance on the show is worth giving you $5 whole. Are you ready?
Oh, I was, yes. This is for the big stakes. Let's hear it.
All right.
Question unseemly, number
I
one.
see you threw a little shade right out of the gate.
Yep,
All right, ladies and gentlemen.
I heard it.
Yeah, I heard it too.
Ding.
Time for question number one. Question number one. What's your best advice for a newlywed?
Oh, roommates with benefits. That's what we're talking about. Everyone, my best advice is never forget that to continue to have roommate rules when you are married.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
That's actually something I haven't heard before. So
well,
how did that come up for you?
That manifests by saying keep the common areas clean, and always be polite and friendly.
Oh, okay. I think that is probably pretty good advice. I would have to
Isn't
say.
every area a common area, though?
Oh, when you're married? Kind of.
Yeah.
Because now you have the bedroom and the other area. But what if they have like if you have your own space, if you have your own little office area, or if they have their own little office area, or
These are non-New York considerations.
right.
And also, what about your own toilet paper? That's a New York roommate thing. You guys
that
do that?
No, that does not sound like a New York roommate thing. That sounds like
It is.
Dave Rosinski thing.
How did you know my name?
That's what I love about Zoom.
So that
favorite.
actually, the reason I actually asked this question is because right before the pandemic, I got married, and then our marriage was kind of pressure cooked during the pandemic because we were trapped. We were like in Queens, which was the epicenter of the pandemic when it started in the U.S. for some reason. I don't know why. So we were just like in our house, and I think that's a good rule. However, in response to Rachel, we actually have our own offices in my house. Like our apartment is big enough. We each have our own office. And that it totally makes sense what Jackie said.
Do I get a ding?
For this question, I think you do, because it was new information for me. You get a bell.
All right. I'll take that bell. I'm taking it to the bank, the $5 bank.
It is time for question number 2. But before we go to question number... They don't have a $5 bank, Dave, just to answer you. Question number 2. Question number 2, before we get to that, can you please tell people out there, Jackie, what you do?
What do I do? Well,
Yes.
There's a fair amount of sitting around. But for a living, I do stand-up comedy. I'm a stand-up comic. My name is Jackie Cation, and it is at Jackie Cation on all of the things that you might want to see me do a thing. And then I do the road, and I have a lot of albums on Spotify and Amazon and all that.
Yeah, I've seen you perform often. You're super funny. And
Thank you very much.
I was so happy to have you on the show. All right, it is now time for question number 2, though. Question number 2. Why did you start growing zucchini?
Oh, this is a valid question. Because I wanted the success. In a vegetable garden, sometimes things don't work. Zucchini, I would go with 99% of the time. You got success right there.
Really? Zucchini is easy to grow, or
It is a frickin' weed. We have 3 zucchini plants. I will, in about 2 weeks, maybe right now, have too many zucchinis to process zucchinis, and we'll have to flyer people's cars at the Home Depot with zucchini. Lift up, zucchini.
did you
you ever-
have?
Windshield.
Did you ever play any of those gardening video games? Is that how you got into it, or?
No. I had a grandmother who planted too many zucchinis. There's a historical precedent of too many zucchinis and too many bell peppers.
Oh wait, that was your grandmother?
That was my grandmother with the too many zucchinis. She used to stuff it though. She'd make a nice. She'd make a stuffed zucchini with the stuff that goes inside sarma or dolmades, which is roast like a ground beef or lamb with some tomato paste and some onions and garlic and salt and pepper. You stuff that in there. You bake them all, and then you're still sick of zucchinis by August.
So Jackie, what was going on in your garden where you needed the zucchini win?
Zucchini. Every day you want a small victory. Every day you want. I believe I get it from my father, and I will tell you this anecdote. When my dad got vaccinated, he called me up and he said, "I got the vaccination early," and I said, "You are 83 and have dibs on this thing. How? What do you mean early?" And he goes, "Well, they were going to give it out at the VA on Monday. I went in on Friday, got it early." So I was like, all right, man.
He's
Take
always
the win.
looking for a deal, I guess.
He's always looking for at least a tiny win. So
Well, I'm going to say no bell on that question, and I'll tell you why. Is because basically you said you grew zucchini because it was easy. So,
yes.
so no bell.
And so no
No points for
admiration
honesty.
that. No
Yeah,
points
but-
for I have not admired.
And also, like, that's something wrong to say. Okay, anyway.
What is something wrong to say?
I grow zucchini because it's easy.
It just happened to not get a bell. It doesn't mean it's wrong.
Okay.
The bell is arbitrary. It is by my whim. So please.
Yeah, I know, but they don't.
Well, I think everybody's learning very quickly. It is time for question number 3. Question number 3. When are you at your dorkiest?
Oh, I would say upon awaking. I would say right around 9 a.m. I like to wake up around 8 or 9 a.m. That is my dorkiest because the first thing a lot of people do, some people do a lot more exciting things after they sort of have their morning moment. What I like to do, I like to get back into the bed, play a little Marvel Puzzle Quest. That's what I like to do. And I like to play it for between 2 and 3 hours.
Wow.
Damn.
That is a good morning. Marvel Puzzle Quest for 2 or 3 hours?
Yeah, that feels pretty dorky.
I'm gonna check it out, but I already have a problem with Marvel Realm of Champions and Marvel Contest of Champions.
Right,
So-
those are both
and
very
if I
good
do,
as well.
and if I get into this puzzle game and it's an extra 2 hours, I don't think I'll have any time left.
Right,
during-
my day is the alliance is called the Dork Forest, Rangers of the Dork Forest. So if you play Marvel Puzzle Quest and would like to join my alliance,
All right, I'll definitely hit you up.
please
Great.
do.
I'm always Mr. Spider-Man on it, by the way. So if you ever
Oh.
get a request from Mr. Spider-Man, that's me.
That's it.
Speaking of Dork Forest, is your podcast still going?
It certainly is. This
Yeah.
week's Dork Forest was with stand-up comic Aisha Alpha, and her dorkdom was Korean food. She lived in Korea for 3 years, and she played university and semi-professional soccer, I believe, or professional soccer in Korea, and she is a Korean foodie, and that was the Dork Forest this very week. Next week it's with Joy L. Johnson, and it's the movie Gone with the Wind. So the Dork Forest can be anything.
Joy yelling Gone with the Wind. That's really funny. All right, I'm going to give you a bell on that question.
Nice.
I'll tell you why. It's because what you described as your dorkiest is pretty dorky. All right, so it follows and makes sense. All right, it's time for question number 4. Question number 4. How did we meet?
Oh, I'm not going to get a bell. We both did stand-up comedy in Minneapolis, Minnesota,
True.
and that is how we met.
I think that's generally true. You know, I don't remember the exact details either.
Oh, good.
I just remember that at some point I started hanging out with you and I really liked you, and so
That's probably why
and-
you even asked her, because you had no idea.
and you were very big into being dorky, and so was I, and so I
Yes.
was just like super happy. And every time that you went up, I was like, she's awesome. But I don't remember exactly how we. I don't remember exactly how we met, and I was hoping that you could remember. But, there you
knew
go. And that was also a time when, like, I think at the time when we met, like, you were just solidly just like a killer comic. Like you were, and I really was just like figuring out like where my toes were on stage.
Right. I think you were in like a generation or two underneath me in the Minneapolis scene. So it was, but I remember seeing you and thinking you were funny, and thus, because I am shallow, being willing to hang out with you.
No, I get it.
So.
I get it. You don't want to hang out with somebody who's delusional. You're like,
No,
you don't see it for yourself. You can't.
It gets
I'm
exhausting.
gonna
I
say
wish I did.
no bell for anybody on that one because neither of us could remember. how we
Fail.
actually met.
Epic fail on both sides.
Wait,
Well, I
since
wouldn't say
since-
epic. I mean, people. I think that's overused in general. Epic fail, really. People throw epic on front of fail.
Wait,
I'd
since
like a
when
bell
do you get a
too.
bell
Bell.
anyway? When do you get a bell anyway? You don't get a bell.
I have as many bells as I want. I own 3 bells.
Now you're just bell bragging.
He's
Yeah,
the
I'm
bell
sorry.
keeper. Bell keeper.
Rachel, what was it that you said?
I said one.
I
for-
said double Nobel, because neither of you remembered or something. It's been 30 seconds. I can't be accountable for what I said 30
Yeah.
seconds ago.
I get it. Also
point.
chiming in was Rachel, our producer. She forgot that someone else named Rachel was on the show.
Yeah, can
apparently,
we have a,
True.
can we do like Rachel M and Rachel T so that doesn't
No,
keep
I mean,
happening?
Rachel, you were correct. Our producer Rachel, she was the one who should have known there was another Rachel on the show. You're
Well,
fine.
no, because I did have something to say about you having 3 bells, so that's what I thought you were referencing.
What were you gonna say?
Nothing important.
All right, let's just get
Come
let's get on to
on.
question number
Only
5.
fans.
Okay.
Only fans. Cameo. Then you can know. Okay, go.
Question number 5. Did you ever make your own video game? I remember you were kicking the idea around a while, and then I don't know what happened.
I'd
Tell
like
me
to
what's up.
take your bell away because I did
What?
it. This
Yeah,
is
what?
just.
This is not a bad
Yeah.
thing. This is a good
We
thing.
all want to take that bell away.
Tell me about it.
It's well, it was going to be a Dork Forest phone game, and it was. It didn't happen. We had art. We had some level design. We couldn't find programmers, and when I say we, I mean me. And I kind of let it slide by the wayside. But no, I never made my own video game.
And I'd like to ask you a follow-up question. Isn't your husband a game programmer?
He is a game designer.
Designer.
So and a producer, so you would think he would know programmers.
Yeah.
He actually does.
And Jackie, I have a question also. What level?
Wait, Dave, I'm sorry to interrupt you, but please let her finish answering the first question.
Oh, I'm sorry. I thought. That
Yeah,
was-
please let her.
I was
apologize.
done.
Were you?
All right.
Good.
Okay, Dave, what was your question?
I forget it.
Oh my God.
Again,
Dave
Cameo,
Rosinski.
OnlyFans. Okay.
So you tried making a game and you couldn't find a programmer to finish it. So like, if you found a programmer now, like say if someone like me were to find your programmer, would you still finish it?
I think so. I think that it's still got potential.
I can help you. I am producing a TV show about video game designers, so
Ooh.
I've got quite a reach about in the game world. I can find you somebody.
Do you know that my husband, because Hell has frozen over, has his own podcast now? And because finally now he was the last person not to have one, I thought. And it's called Ethics and Video Games. And he and a guy who teaches philosophy talk about ethics in video games.
You know what
Are they
is
gamer
also
gators?
They're what?
Are they gamer gators?
Oh, they are not. They are not gamer gators. They are anti-gamer gators because those wits can't just let somebody play a game. So these two nerds, one of them's my husband, and the other one is a nerdy philosophy professor, and they talk about essentially it's like the difference between murdering It's when you kill somebody in a video game and you murder someone in a video game, where you hit on someone in a video game and you rape them in a video game. Like there are video games that you could have sex with children, and there's like horrible video games. Yeah, and so they talk about, you know, like, because you can murder your family in The Sims. Like, you can leave your family in the swimming pool and they die of starvation.
Oh yeah, swimming pool with no ladders.
Right.
Exhaustion.
And
they pass out and they drown.
or if it's empty, they just die of starvation. And so, but they talk about, they have like these sort of big conversations, monetization within video games, and you know, whether it's production, whether it's storyline, all the things.
I like that. In video games where you have a choice of being a good person or a bad person, I always choose good, because I can't bring myself to stomach the stuff you have to do to be the bad person.
Right.
Well, what about have you ever played Grand Theft Auto, where you just do completely not what the game is about and just go crazy?
Which,
A lot of
you
people
can.
play it like that. Yeah, because you can, and it's more fun.
It's built in, whether
Yeah.
if that's the fun you want to do. What I always wanted was, there's a stand-up club in Grand Theft Auto that I never got to play. That's going to burn forever.
Oh, that's cool.
That's
Who
always
books
going
that?
to burn. Who books that? And I'll tell you who books that. EA. Anyway,
I'm
so
going to give you a bell on that question. I'll
Oh,
tell you
yeah.
why. It is because of the video games and ethics, which was something new that I'm going to check out. So,
yeah, it's early too. I think there's only like 10 or 15 episodes so far.
I can't wait to
You
check
can
it out.
get in on the ground floor.
I will. I'm going to get in on that ground floor. What's the name of it again? The podcast?
Ethics and video games.
Ethics and video games. Great. It is time for question number 6. Question number 6. Do you easily forgive?
I do. And it is, I will tell you why. Because I forget. People have been mean to me,
Uh-huh.
and I will see them again, and I'm like, oh, I recognize her. And then I will say hello, and then I'll be like, oh, shit, that person doesn't like me. And then we'll get another opportunity to be mean to me. There was a booker in California who never liked me and never booked me, but I always remembered her, but I never remembered that she didn't like me and didn't book me. And so every time I meet her, I'd be like, oh my gosh, Debbie, it's so good to see you. And she'd be like, and then she would walk away. So she got to be cold to me for a decade, probably. So
That's funny. Have you ever, and on the other side of that, have you ever had something where you were mad and then where you didn't forget, but you made an effort to forgive?
Oh, yes, that would be my father. Sure. Here's the thing about growing up human, is that you don't realize that your parents are people, and then you hit a certain age and you're like, well, I could be mad at him forever, or I could try to find the things, because he's the only dad I've got. I've got to find the things about him that I love, and I have to find the things about him that I can like, and the things that I can't like, I don't have to approve of them, but I also, you know, they're not going to, I can't fix them, you know?
You know, it's funny. I'm going through this right now with my father. Exact thing.
Stay
I mean,
here.
I don't have to tell you the whole story, but I will say
that's
he does have 14 kids by 8 different women. So that's enough.
Wow.
Right. That's so many kids, and you're just like, because my father was telling me a story one time. It was a dork forest I've never aired, and I wanted him to dork out about sales, and this is when I realized that everything is a sale to my father, because he was talking about women, and he was saying, well, you should have. I had a really great pitch and really a lot of great moves with Yvonne in 1966 or something like that. And I was like, Dad, 66 was the year before him and my mother separated. And I was like, Dad, I don't like the math on that. You and Yvonne. And he said,
Busted.
that's not my fault. That's the math. And I was like, that's specifically you were the one. So I've had to sort of, and he's famously has said, we found out he had been having an affair for 9 years, and he said, "Not 9 years in a row."
He's just like, let me slip out of this responsibility. It's a little uncomfortable.
That makes it a lot better.
Yep.
I'm going to say Bell for that because there's a lot. There's a lot.
All right, it is a lot.
Jackie, we've asked you all 6 questions, so now it's time to determine whether or not you're going to get $5 for appearing on the show. But before we do that, can you tell people out there where they can find you?
JackieCation.com has both of my podcasts, a bunch of video clips of me doing stand-up, and a bunch of all of my tour dates, because I'm back on the road post-COVID. And I printed 2,000 masks because I thought I was going on the road 8 months ago, so feel free to come get a free mask. They're poorly made, but they're free. So JackieCation.com for all your needs. And then I have 2 podcasts, The Dork Forest and The Jackie and Laurie Show, that I do with Laurie Kilmartin, and we talk about stand-up comedy.
I would say Laurie Kilmartin, also excellent.
An amazing comic.
Yes. All right. So now it's time to determine whether or not you're going to get $5. What we usually do is canvass a room. Let's find out. Dave, what do you think? Should Jackie get $5?
Absolutely. And I'm only saying this because I know how much she doesn't want it.
Wow. Okay. Taj, what do you think? Should Jackie get $5?
Hell yeah.
Yes,
I think
2.
everybody should get $5.
There's that.
All right.
That's not wrong. That
A
is
little
not
bit
wrong.
of socialism, I guess.
I love it.
Rachel, what do you think? Sorry, Rachel, our producer, is just she's antsy. I can tell.
I didn't mean to click the camera button, and I was surprised to see myself.
Yeah, well. Rachel, what do you think? Let's say Rachel McCartney. What do you think? Should Jackie get $5?
Yes, and also I think because you disrespected her honesty, Ari Zucchini, you should personally have to pay her $5.
Or take 3 zucchinis.
Rachel, that's actually not a punishment. The way the show works is that I personally pay people $5. That's the way the show works. So
I like the punishment version, though.
but good try and sticking it to me. All right.
Thank you. I do my best.
Rachel Teichman, our producer, what do you think? Should Jackie get $5?
Well, here's the thing. I've been going a little bit back and forth. The thing that's really holding me back is I noticed that Dave's thing, his light is resting on a filing box and not an actual piece of furniture, and that's really bringing me down right now. However, I really liked your answer about growing zucchini. I thought it was honest and it helps the self-esteem, and I like you. So yes, she should get $5.
All right. Thank you for your input.
Thank you, Rachel.
You're welcome.
All right.
Got my light.
And the last person we're going to ask is you, Jackie. What do you think? Should you get $5 for your appearance on the show?
I just in the effort of unanimousness, that's not a word. I say yes. I would like $5.
You know what? I'm going to agree. You get $5. Congratulations, Jackie. You win $5 for being on the show. We just got to wrap this up. Dave, what did you learn from this week's show?
Most recently, that the effort of unanimousness is not a real word. Thank you, Jackie. You just said that. And also, you might have just fixed stuff between me and my dad, too. And that's good for all 3 of us, right?
There you go.
Can't stay pissed forever.
Well, this is such a positive show today. Please check us out at 6 Unseemly on all social media and unseemlyquestions.com.
A podcast network.